Hey there, nice to see you back at Garfin's creation. Let's make this delicious date and walnut cake today. This is one of my favorite cakes. This cake is always made during Christmas. But you will so love this cake that you will make it on other days as well. I have used a 200 ml cup measurement for the entire recipe. Let's start with the recipe. We'll begin by soaking the dates in some hot water. Here I have taken half a cup of hot water and will be adding some baking soda into it. So I'll be adding half a teaspoon leveled baking soda. Just give it a quick stir and then we'll be adding the dates into it to be soaked. So here I have taken 2 cups of wet dates, also called as Khajur. I have cut this into smaller pieces. This is 1/4 kg. So while taking it into a cup measurements, after you have cut the dates, do not press it and take the cups. Just fill the cups and then use it. So mix this well and let it get fully covered below the water. Now we need to keep this for soaking for at least 15 to 20 minutes so that the dates gets nice and soft. So while this is getting soaked, let's prepare the other ingredients required for this recipe. So here I have taken a loaf cake pan. The base of this pan measures 7 by 3 inches and a height of 2 inches. You can line this cake tin with the parchment paper too, but today I am using this butter paper. So I am just pressing the sides of the butter paper so to get a nice outline of the pan. Then I'll be folding on the outline and just cutting on the 4 sides. It's always good to use a butter paper or a parchment paper for lining the cake tin so the cake is easily pulled out once baked. Then I'll just put it into the pan and fold the sides. Once the butter paper is set well into the pan, we will just grease it with some oil or butter. Today we'll be baking this cake without the oven. If you need to bake this cake in oven, you need to preheat your oven at least 10 minutes before at 180 degrees centigrade. When this is ready, we'll just keep aside and get with the dry ingredients. For the dry ingredients, here I have taken 3/4 cup of Maida. This is 100 grams of Maida, and when you take it into cup measurement, it is little less than the full cup. So take it approximate 3/4 cup. And since I'm using unsalted butter today, I'll be adding 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Also be adding half a teaspoon of baking powder. Just level the spoon and add it to this flour. Now sieve all the 3 ingredients. To get best results for cakes, it's always to measure the ingredients by weight. I have mentioned in grams and in cups in the description box below. We'll just mix this dry ingredients and keep it aside for some time. For the wet ingredients, I'll be taking 5 tablespoons of butter. So those are the 4 tablespoons and this is the 5th tablespoon. So this is 75 grams of butter. You could also use ghee here. I'll be adding 100 grams of sugar. So that is 5 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of grained sugar. To cream the butter and the sugar quickly, you could also make a powder of the sugar and then add it to the butter. We will just whisk both the ingredients, the sugar and the butter, for a minute. If you're using salted butter, there's no need of adding the salt that we had added earlier. I'll be adding 2 small eggs. You take small or medium size of English eggs. All the ingredients used in this recipe are at room temperature. So now we will whisk all this and we'll get it nice and creamy. We also have to make sure that the sugar is completely melted. So this mixture is now a bit light and pale in color. Next, I have taken half a cup, that is 50 grams of chopped walnuts. You can check out the pieces, it's not too very large. And just add a teaspoon of the flour mix into it and give it a mix. Just coat the walnuts well and we'll just keep it aside for some time. Now we'll be adding the Maida, that is the all-purpose flour mix, into the wet ingredients. I'll be just folding in the Maida into the wet ingredients a little at a time. This cake, once baked, is very moist and dense. So do not overmix this cake batter. So I added the Maida in 3 batches. And using the cut and fold method, I just mixed in all of it. Just mix this cake batter just enough till all the maida is well mixed and there are no lumps. So now no traces of the maida can be seen, and if there are any lumps, I'll just smash it and mix it well. So just mixing it for a few times, this batter gets nice and lump free. Next we'll be adding the soaked dates. By now the dates are well soaked and have got nice and soft. We will just add it into the batter and fold it once again. So these dates were soaked for 20 minutes and they are nice and soft by now. Also avoid cutting the date pieces big in size. With the smaller pieces of dates, it gets soaked well and also you get good slices once the cake is baked. So now the dates are mixed well. All we have to do now is add the walnuts into it. Just like the dates, these walnuts too will be just folded into the cake batter. Do not mix it very vigorously, just fold it with light hands. Today I'll be showing you how to bake this on the gas stove. So I've just kept a large pan to be preheated on medium flame for the last 10 minutes. Once the batter is ready, we have to just fill in the cake pan and put it in for baking. So first I just put a little bit of the batter and spread it well at the bottom of the pan. Just try and spread the batter towards all 4 corners of the cake pan. This way it will also keep the baking paper in place. So now I'll be just adding the rest of the batter into the cake pan and leveling it. If you want an eggless version of the date and walnut cake, I have already uploaded a video of an eggless date and walnut cake. So the link for that recipe too will be at the end of the video and in the description box below. So now all the batter is gone into the cake pan and just making sure that the corners too are filled well. Just tap it a few times and I'll be just adding some half walnuts on top. You could also sprinkle some finely chopped walnuts on top, but this is completely optional. You can also bake this cake in a preheated oven at 180 degrees centigrade between 35 to 45 minutes with the lower heating element on. So now let's bake it over the stove top. So this pan was preheated from the last 10 minutes and I have kept a ring stand inside it. I'll just place the cake pan inside it and cover it with a lid and let this bake on medium flame. So baking this cake over the gas stove will take me around 45 to 50 minutes. Your cake is done when the wooden skewer comes out clean and the cake too has got a nice brown color. So after 30 to 35 minutes, you can check in whether the cake is done. Do not over bake it as it may get dry. So now I'll just keep it on the cooling rack till I'm able to remove it out from the pan. The cake is still warm and after 10 minutes, I'll just remove it out from the pan and remove the papers from the sides and let it cool down completely. This is one delicious cake recipe and when you try it once, I'm sure you'll be making it very often. So I do hope you try this recipe and share it with others too. Once the cake is cooled down completely, you can cut it into slices and serve it. You can keep this cake at room temperature in an airtight box for around 2 to 3 days. You can also keep it in the fridge for about a week and in the freezer for about 3 months. Just cling wrap it and keep it in an airtight box. So now here you can check out the slices and the texture of this cake. It's really delicious and moist. So I do hope you like this recipe and continue watching Garfin's creation videos. Stay tuned for more delicious videos. I'll see you soon again in the next video too. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.